Hi, and welcome everybody. My name is Kat Jimenez. I'm the executive producer of the brand team here at Lucid Motors. I have the privilege of moderating this conversation between two very talented gentlemen. I'd love to introduce them. I have here with us today Derek Jenkins, the VP of Design for Lucid Motors. And I'm also happy to welcome Tim Pride, the Director of Music for Dolby. Say hello, fellas.
How you doing?
Hi, Kat.
Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Well, let's dive in. Let's really talk about how this partnership and collaboration has been formed. Derek, what is it about Dolby that was the right fit for Lucid?
You know, I think part of it is just the kind of audio expertise, the tradition of Dolby as a brand and a technology company was really attractive to us. You know, from the beginning, we aspired to get the most out of this vehicle from an in-car audio standpoint. We have a lot of people in the company that are audio enthusiasts, especially around automobile. And so Dolby just seemed like a natural fit, you know, with all the history that that brand has in that space.
That's awesome. Tim, why did you decide that Lucid would be the first automotive company to partner with?
Well, Dolby has a long, rich history of being in car audio. A lot of older viewers might remember the Dolby NR or Dolby button that was on the head unit. Might be dating myself there, but so we've been a part of the audio system within cars for a long time. But in the last few years, as we've been creating and building Dolby Atmos and seeing the reaction that we've been getting from people, especially in music, it's a natural fit that Atmos for an automobile would make sense as the next type of experience we'd want to bring, both the creatives and to consumers. It was very obvious to us that Lucid was trying to do something different and trying to do something that was unique to the automotive experience. And so I think it really came out of just a passion for audio. I mean, one of the first few conversations I had with your team was really just about our love of music and our love of sound. And then it just kind of blossomed into, well, you know what, maybe there is something more here that we should be talking about. And so for Dolby to see a brand and a company like Lucid that shares a lot of the same values that we do around bringing these new spectacular experiences to people, it made a lot of sense for us. And that partnership has just continued to grow. And so I'll say what Derek said. I'm really excited to see where it goes.
Let's talk more about the actual technology then. What is the Lucid Immersive Audio System, Derek?
The Lucid Immersive System is really about this further evolution of dimension and depth. It's not only about front to rear or left to right, it's also up and down. So we have the ability to position sounds, position tone, whether that's music or vehicle signals and sounds, anywhere in space, front, back, side to side, up and down, with movement. And I think that's what makes it truly unique, because we always look at the automobile as like it's a captive environment. You know, short of having a sound booth at home or wearing a high-end set of headphones, the automobile is really like a captive sound chamber. So to really take that to the next level of immersion and spatial dimension and movement is our objective with the Lucid system.
Tim, let's talk about Dolby Atmos and what it is exactly. And since Dolby's been at the forefront of sound innovation for decades, has anything like this ever existed before? And really, truly, what is Dolby Atmos for those who don't understand it?
Sure. Dolby has been in this for a long time, and we've been in it by working with creatives. When we've worked with creatives is when we've created the best technologies and the best experiences. That all started back in the 60s when Ray founded the company working with musicians. You know, he sat with them in studios like this, trying to understand, how can I help your creative vision come to life? And he worked as a technologist and as an engineer, but also as a passionate music lover, to find ways for musicians to record music in a way that they hadn't before. The reason I share that is that story has been repeated over decades at Dolby, where we continued to learn what it was that creatives, musicians, storytellers, filmmakers, game developers were trying to accomplish with their medium. With Atmos, we're giving creatives a whole new way of thinking about audio, to where they now just think about audio in space. We get them away from thinking in channels, move them away from left, right, And we just really allow them to think about it in space. And so the technology behind it allows for a creative to really dream big and to dream in ways that they might have done in the past, but thought, well, the technology isn't there. But Dolby Atmos is an immersive experience that allows creatives, musicians, artists to do things they've never done before, and then be able to seamlessly bring that to their, in this case, music fans in ways that they hadn't before because they didn't think it would translate all the way over to their fans. And so the example of, Lucid Air, now you've got artists that are going to be so excited about creating music in Atmos because they know fans of theirs are going to be able to hear it in an environment like that. It gets them that much more fired up and excited about what this can do. To answer the other part, have you heard it before? Yes, I think there's been things in the past that have allowed people to give some sense of space. But what's different now is that the technology is so much easier for the creatives to use that it's no longer a barrier for them to actually start and do things that they've never done before. Whereas before, it might have been a lot more work for them to try to replicate some type of emotional, immersive experience. Now we just made it that much easier for them.
What were the challenges that you were facing in the beginning when you were approaching creating a sound system for a vehicle?
The way that people are experiencing music today, it's not always just one person in a vehicle, right? And a lot of cars are building the way that they're designed so that it's accommodating entertainment for more than just one person. And when it comes to audio, especially when you're talking about Atmos that is immersive, you want to make sure that you're giving each person within that car a great experience. Now, we've got a lot of experience in doing that because of our history in cinemas, to where we want every seat in a cinema to sound great to every single person. So the same challenge is there, but within a much smaller enclosure. So I think that was one of the first things we had to figure out is how do we make that experience great, not just for the driver, but for everybody within the car.
Yeah, I would second that point because, especially with Lucid Air, but also with even future Lucid products, there's such an emphasis on the experience in the front of the car from a driver and passenger, driving dynamics, the sportiness. The back seat's all about space and relaxation. So we really had to consider all of that and make sure that that's a balanced experience for all the occupants in the car. I would say the other thing is just this, to create something that feels natural and seamless at one time, but at the same time, something truly outstanding that is noteworthy for people and memorable.
And Tim, how would you describe the distinctions between surround sound and this immersive audio system?
What Dolby Atmos brings to this type of setup is something that sounds a lot more natural. So you used the phrase surround sound. I would say that this is a huge evolution from that in the sense that we really are out to almost have the speakers disappear, right? So whether you actually see them or can pinpoint them as you're listening, that's what we're trying to get away from. We want people to truly feel like they're just sitting within a sound field and you can hear all these different sounds and elements and instruments, and it feels very natural. That is the promise of Atmos, is that we really can make different levels of different types of sounds be heard in different detail that you might not normally hear. And to what Derek said, sitting in this like capsule where we've gotcha, it really makes it so that we can tune that system and really have it be completely immersive for you as you sit there, and hopefully aren't moving around too much within the car.
Yeah, and even to second that point, even the design of the interior, we've had to be super meticulous about the placement of hardware, speaker positions throughout the vehicle, and all of that's been done to be very hidden and discreet. You'll notice in the interior of the Lucid Air, there's not big polished metal speaker grills and things like. Everything's very much hidden away and subtle because we want the sound to lead, not the hardware, and make it very much seamless and hidden away and just enjoy the sound.
And Kat, if I could just to add to that, one of the places that's been proven is Dolby did a lot of research in this when we were designing our Dolby cinemas. And the reason why I bring this up is Dolby cinemas, you don't see a single speaker in the entire cinema, from the lighting to when you actually walk in, and that was intentional. And the reason I share that is if you can create an environment where you actually don't physically see them, it does make for a different type of audio experience. And you really want to have people, we always say, lose yourself in the music. Well, what better way to do that than by not allowing them to see the actual speakers or drivers themselves, right? Like some people like to see it, like you can see the speakers. There's probably like 30 speakers around me right now, and it looks cool. But when you're trying to actually lose yourself in the music, not showing the speakers, we've proven that actually makes a big difference with the overall experience.
That's awesome. Derek, talk to me a little bit about how we built the Lucid Air from the ground up and what benefit that afforded us. And we'll connect that to sound afterwards.
Yeah, part of that, what's really special about Lucid Air is it's really derived around our electric vehicle architecture, which basically means we take a vehicle that's fairly compact on the outside and we increase the interior space. We're able to get a much larger interior on a vehicle of this particular overall size. And so as a result, it's just a unique spatial experience inside the car, a lot more leg room and a lot more distance between the front passengers and rear passengers. And that just makes it unique in the marketplace. And that's also allowed us to be very specific and deliberate about where we place the hardware for audio throughout the interior.
But let's talk about hardware and software that makes the system so amazing. Can you explain a little bit about the hardware and the software and where it was developed?
From the beginning, we had really ambitious plans in terms of how we wanted to do the hideaway speakers and place that hardware throughout the interior. Probably the most unique aspect of that is how we've dealt with our overhead speakers in our pillars and near the drivers and passengers front and rear. Those are very deliberate to get, kind of well positioned so we can get this immersive dimensional quality. The other side of that goes beyond the music and more into the sounds that the car makes. So all of the signals, warnings, indicators, and how the car communicates back to you, we're able to control those sounds and really design that to be immersive. For example, if someone in the rear seat's not wearing the seatbelt chime comes on, but it comes on coming from that back corner. So, it's
great.
Dimensional. Or if I get a lane departure warning signal, that signal is coming from the area in which that car is positioned out on the road next to you. Or when we start up the car and the startup sequence comes to life, it doesn't just come to life in front of you, it comes to life all around you. So you're dimensionally immersed in the sounds that the vehicle itself makes. And so that's a big part of it.
Why is that type of subtle interaction, like the seatbelt warning, so important?
I think it speaks to kind of this idea of the intelligent connected vehicle. Everything we're doing around the car is meant to inform the user, the customer, that the vehicle is smart, it's aware, it's thinking of you, and it does it in a way that is an enjoyable experience. It's not intrusive, it's not shouting at you, it's done in a way that's just natural. And I think that is the next big step where the automobile is becoming really an integrated, intelligent device. And what does that mean for the customer? That means that long-term, the time spent inside the vehicle is as enjoyable as possible.
So what we do here is that we take one of our immersive car sounds. In this case, we work on the mock-up of a seatbelt sound, designing in Dolby Atmos. And in this room, we simulate the full in-car experience. And on this side, you see the immersive audio architecture that we've created. We designed it to be like a recording studio. It can handle hundreds of sounds and sources simultaneously. Lucid Air is literally a supercomputer on wheels.
Do either of you feel there's a lot more room to innovate or discover when it comes to the car's immersive audio experience?
Yes, absolutely. And I think that will come from the more creatives like Lucid get their hands on the technology and really play with it and interact with it, the more new ideas come from it. I mean, that's been our experience here. What we love to see is we know we've done something right when the technology gets out of the way and the creatives can then just learn by doing more and more. And so I'm very confident in my answer because we've seen that time and time again where, yes, there is a innovative technology, but it really is then taken by a creative. So let's say a musician, and they then do something with it we had never dreamed of or we had never thought of before. And suddenly we're having to create new types of products or technologies to even keep up with the creative's mind that we have initially inspired them to do. And I think the same is true here. I think Lucid is going to inspire a whole new way for creatives within the auto industry and beyond to do new things within an automobile, whether it be entertainment or driver safety, et cetera. So I think there is definitely room to move, and we really, truly are at the beginning of it. with this first partnership.
Yeah, I would second that. Yeah, I just think that we're only at the beginning of this, and back to what I said prior, the automobile will be a place really to be immersed in an experience, and whether that's date night and just having a nice, relaxing, romantic drive, and how you augment that experience through light and the physical experience, and of course sound, versus keeping the kids or whoever entertained in the backseat, and how do you take that to the next immersive level? Or if I am fully autonomous and I just want to have a spa-like experience for the next 200 miles of driving, what's that like? And where do we take that? It's all of that's going to involve this audio component for sure.
Are there some misters for that spa-like experience coming out of the car?
Aroma. We haven't talked about
That's
scents.
right, scent. That's important. Derek, talk to me a little bit more about Lucid's over-the-air updates and what that means for the sound system.
Well, so OTA is a big part of kind of the connected car, and we're really on the forefront of those technologies. We intend to launch the car with a very robust and complete suite of features and audio experiences. But over time, we'll be refining that and adding more depth and dimension and personalization to that, and we'll be able to update that over the air and keep it up to date. What's important for the consumer there is that when they do make the investment and the purchase of a Lucid, the product isn't frozen in time like it is today with so many of the automobile purchases that people make. It evolves with you. It's going to grow and improve over time. And I think consumers have become conditioned by that through the other devices in their lives. But that's just almost never the case when it comes to the automobile to date, with just a handful of exceptions. And the OTA is going to enable that. And so we already are planning our updates out beyond the launch of the vehicle. And then to take that another step further, we'll be adding additional partners to the Lucid suite of features as we go.
Incredible. Tim, what has been the reaction from artists and creators?
With Atmos, musicians and producers and creatives have all been blown away by what it's done for them, what it's unlocked for them from a creative standpoint. When they hear it, it is always this whoa, like you get some pretty awesome reactions. Usually one of the next questions we get from them will be, this is great. So when can I listen to this in my car? And so for some viewers out there, I'm not sure if they know, but one of the ways that a lot of producers and mixing engineers will check their mixes is that they will actually sit and take their mix out of a studio like this and go to their car, and they'll listen to it because their car is their audio reference system. And it can be regardless of what kind of car it can be. It can be an old hoopty hatchback or some state-of-the-art, brand new car. They just know what that sound system sounds like, and so they check their mixes. Well, with Atmos Music over the last few years, we've had a lot of these artists and engineers saying, I want to do the same. I want to be able to take my mix from a studio like this and go and sit in my car and listen to it and check it, because then I know what my fans and the fans of this music are going to be experiencing. And so when they hear about what we're doing with Lucid, they're going to lose it, because they're going to all be lining up to get one of these cars. I wouldn't be surprised if studios have these cars sitting in their parking lots. It's just a reference check system, because they love the experience of the car, because they just know that so many people are in a car either actively or passively listening to music, but it's oftentimes a place where most people are consuming music is within the automobile. So we're excited for that, because I know we constantly get artists asking us, when's it coming to a car? When's it coming to a car?
Amazing. This is a question for both of you. Derek, I'd love if you'd answered it first. What are you most excited about when you finally sit in a production car that's outfitted with Dolby Atmos?
I think it's that immersive experience. I think that the automobile is a unique kind of space to curate. And from a design standpoint, we put so much focus on the materials and the space of the interior, the color, and all the senses. And keep in mind, we're tying that together with this cutting-edge driving experience, incredible power, incredible efficiency, zero emissions, So it's very physically dynamic and emotional as well. And then on the digital side, we're playing with a user interface, lighting, ambient colors throughout the interior. So there's a real curation to all senses. And to be able to sit in there and have this Atmos experience in a Lucid Air, I think is going to really round out the human experience inside the car. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Same question for you, Tim.
The way that Lucid has approached the automobile and a lot of what I understand from a design and the creative side very much resonates with Dolby's approach to experiences. We are creators creating things for other creators. And a lot of what I've learned about Lucid is it's all about being very creative in the experiences, not just the products themselves. And we talk about that all the time here at Dolby. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I hear experience, I'd be a rich man.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's true. It's very much true. It's a part of our DNA. And so it seems like a very authentic partnership.
On that note, what do you think the future looks like for Dolby and Lucid?
We got a long road ahead of us, unintended. No,
Love it.
I think the future is bright. I mean, the thing that we love so much about the technologies that we build is that we build them with other creatives. And Lucid being a company full of creative people, we're very excited about already what we're hearing from them about what they think of the sound system, what they think of Atmos, how we could adjust or tweak or improve what Atmos can be for the car. That's exciting for us because that's what we've always done for all of Dolby's products and experiences. And so to have a true partner that helps bring more of the experience to it is something that's very important to us.
Yeah, on that note, like when you think about the future and where we're going, the technology around the automobile, the technology around immersive sound, entertainment, these technologies are moving so fast, so it's hard to even predict sometimes. One thing I would say where the alignment exists between Lucid and Dolby is we don't want to do technology for sake of technology. It has to be something that truly enhances the experience and that seems seamless and seems real. You know, it has that connection with the user, has the connection on the emotional side, but is somehow technologically magic. And I think the more we can enhance that going forward into not only Lucid Air, but future products, I think we would be on an amazing path.
Is there anything else that either of you would like to add as we round out this conversation?
We can't wait for people to hear it. We can't wait for people to experience it. I was even having a hard time referring to the Lucid Air as a car because it's so much more than that. And it's just like referring to the sound system as the stereo system. It's so much more than that, right? I mean, the Lucid Air Dolby Atmos experience is going to be one that is truly going to blow people away. And the fortunate few who have heard it, even ones that are experts in this field, are just like, wow, this is something special. And I really do think this is going to, again, inspire creatives. I think it's going to inspire new ways of thinking about audio and entertainment within a vehicle. And I think it really is going to get people excited about music in ways that maybe they haven't been in a long time. And that's, you know, for me personally, that's what I'm most passionate about. And I think this is going to be one of those moments where people really are going to remember the first time they experienced this.
I would just say, you know, as a new player to the automotive space, you know, we're coming in with a clean sheet, which has its pros and has allowed us to really approach this in a new way. But it also means that people have to get to know us. They don't know who we are. The name Lucid is new to people. So to be able to partner up with a technology partner like Dolby means a lot, because I think that I would be willing to bet that any one of our target consumers out there would know who Dolby is and who they stand for. So to be able to partner with our clean sheet approach, with their long heritage of amazing audio technologies, it's just a real pleasure to have been able to work together and bring this to market in a new and exciting way.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for your time. I'm looking forward to driving the Air and listening to Natalia Lafourcade up the Sonoma coast.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
That would be your choice.
Yep, that's me. Thanks again, fellas. I really appreciate your
Awesome.
time. All right.
Thank you
so much,
Take
Kat.
care.
Appreciate it.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
Tim.
Thanks.